Cool. See, and this is why our little I told you, gamer hours are not this early for me, especially when
You
playing
did.
Pavlov so late. So every now and then we gotta do a little redo. So Alex, welcome back for the second time.
Hello, thank you. It's a pleasure, dude. I am so stoked to be here with you, my good friend Eric.
Second time on the show, second time redoing our intro. Just a whole lot of redos today. For those who don't know Alex, check out Between Realities podcast. Him and Skiva, they're always going to be asking why over and over and over to a lot of topics because that's when you get to the juicy, fun stuff rather than the surface value. Which that comment's going to translate very well to my first topic on something I'm extremely angry about. But also, if this time frame of this talk seems a little daunting, it is a little long, we will be clipping this all and putting it on Eric for President Clips, the YouTube channel name, starting the day of this upload, but November 9th will be the first upload on that. Alex, though, for time's
Hey,
sake,
man.
let's jump into this because I'm a little pissed off.
Yeah, dude, let's get into it.
Speaking of the why for a bunch of things and why things get reported the way they do. So, Meta, this is going to get meta right here, right? Meta, the company, or Facebook's rebrand, is getting sued by Meta. So, Meta is being sued by Meta, which is Meta. I have the statement up on the screen, but the TLDR is the Meta company, a Chicago-based company led by CEO Nate Skullick, has claimed that Meta, being Facebook, has stolen its name. It's crazy how I'm going to have to keep clarifying that because we can't call it Meta and Meta. Nate, the CEO of Meta Company, claims that Facebook did try to acquire them, but they did not succeed and then tried to bury their existence. And then this article has been everywhere. Everywhere. I've seen it on TMZ. I've seen it on Gizmodo. I've seen it on Tech Inside. It is everywhere. But before I get into my side here and why I'm so pissed, are you familiar with this story?
Yes, I am.
What are your thoughts on it? Like, what do you know about it? Because I want to make sure. I would love for you to have the real story.
Well, I'm not going to claim to. All right. So let's start with that. I've seen like some social media posts. I saw what the Meta company shared with everyone, their announcement and their statement basically on this. And I saw how they laid it out and they said, hey, listen, here's the story. A random company reached out to us. They wouldn't disclose who it was. And, naturally we had our inclinations, but still we didn't know. Push comes to shove. Of course, it's Facebook. We tell them, nope, take a hike, we're not interested, our name's better, see you later. And of course Facebook decided to just plow straight through them anyway, not give a shit and say, hey, we've got enough money, we'll just throw money at it until it goes away, kind of situation. So that's my understanding of the situation. Does that sound about ballpark about what happened?
And then times the aggression on Twitter from Tech Bro Twitter and every video that is the most evil thing. Now, I am not going to defend Meta/Facebook here. Like, this could just be one of many shitstorms they're coming into soon. So there is no defense here. But here's where I'm coming from this side. What pissed me off so much is, the content I used to make, and I've switched my stance. Not switched my stances, but switched my type of content, right? When you slow down, and I think you always doing what you've done has been probably just excellent for you. Like, when you slow down, it's not about info sensationalizing. It's not about hitting something the quickest beat. It's not about getting it out there because you're expected to, and this is no shade on anyone. It is the game. You have to play it when you want to grow. I fault nobody for it. But when you slow down after doing that for so long, you realize that within that madness, you fuck up a lot. You fuck up a lot. And you end up reporting on shit that shouldn't be reported on. And I've seen full-on creators I respect go down the rabbit hole of videos directly on this saying it's standard course, fuck Facebook, fuck this. I've seen every news source, even TMZ, which I don't expect them to be right, but like every single news source not touching this. I want to hit you with some facts that were interesting when I looked into it. When I had a second to like, okay, well, what are they selling? The website of Meta Company, not Meta Facebook, but Meta Company, the company suing right now or claiming to sue, does not have a product. It is a single link that only goes to the statement that I will put up on screen again. There is no links, there is no product, there is no nothing. Down at the bottom of the screen, they happen to have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram account links. If you click on all of them, they were made the last couple days of October of this year, first couple days of November, and their only links are their company statements. Deeper search on the CEO, Nate Skullick, brings up absolutely nothing. Nothing. There is no company. There is no product. This is squatters' rights here.
You're shitting me.
No, go look at it. And guys, I am open to being wrong. Anyone who knows me, put in the comments if I'm completely off base here. Like I said, I'm not defending past examples, past things anyone's done. I'm looking right on this, where every single news source that I read, which really bugged me, and I know it's no one's fault, they've got to get their clicks. I get it. But I have the luxury of not giving a fuck about that, and can look into it a little bit.
Wow, man. Well, dude, great work. First of all, like, way to click on something. You know what I mean? Like, to your point, like, everyone is like, it's almost like it doesn't even matter. You know what the information is. It doesn't matter at all what we're talking about. It's just, is this being shared? Yes or no? Oh, it is. Great. I need to share that. You know, like, thanks for clicking. Thanks for going a little bit forward, because I didn't, right? Like, I saw a post from some company that said Facebook threw a bunch of money at them, and I said, sounds about right, and went on with my day, you know? But, like, to your point, I've never heard of the Meta company. I don't know, like, who are they, you know? And, like, like, yeah, do they make anything? And I guess you did a little bit of research and found out that they don't.
I can't find a damn thing. I can't even find them talking about one thing they've made. I can't find anything on the CEO. All their socials are a week old with no post, and all 200 followers. I think their Facebook is about 600, and their Twitter and Instagram have basically within 10 followers of each other, like they're the same.
So someone started a company. They called it the Meta company, and they're like, sweet, I own a company. I'm not going to do anything with it, but I own it. And then it just sat there, and they just like own a company, and they own a name, and they're like, yep, that's my thing. And maybe one day when I decide to have a really badass company, I'll just there it is. I've got the name already.
Yep.
That's kind of what happened? And then Facebook comes along like, oh, someone already stole this name. It's almost like someone, the asshole who bought AlexVR.com, you know, it's like he's not using it. Well, yeah, I mean, someone owns it. Yeah. Yeah. And I got AlexVR.net a couple of years ago when we kind of first started getting up and running with all this stuff. And I would have gotten .com, but it was owned by someone and they wanted like $150 or, you know, something like that. And I'm like, no, screw you. I'll get .net. I don't care. But yeah, that's what it's reminding me of. Like someone who like bought a domain name and then, you know, Facebook's like, all right, we want that domain name. And these guys are like, no. So my question is then, what is the incentive or what's the motive behind the actions of the Meta company, right? Like, what are they trying to do? Money. Yeah, they're just like trying to get publicity. Well, I mean, because Facebook threw money at them. If it was money, they could have just taken it.
Allegedly, I don't know. That I can't figure out. There's no way for me to ever know if there was money discussed, if Facebook's ever talked to them, or if everything maybe they weren't even sitting on it for a long time. Maybe they've been sitting on it.
Or maybe none of this is real. Who knows, maybe man. All of it's fucked. Like you said, you found some brand new social media accounts, some CEO who doesn't exist, like some company name with zero products or zero market anywhere. Yeah. Like,
and I want to make it real clear. I bring this up not to defend Meta. I don't give a flying shit about any companies, right? Companies, I do not care about the company names. What I care about is making sure that I'm better. Like, that's it. That's all I can do is I'm better. But I noticed, I'm like just reading site after site, no one mentioning any of this. Sites that when I was a kid, like when I read a Wired magazine or when Game Informer came to my door, you know, when I'm 10, 11, 12, when I was reading those, I took a lot as fact. Like, I took pride in reading this and trying to learn. And then I specifically, after looking into this Meta company claims, every single article, every single one, no one mentioning one thing about these socials, about the site, about the lack of products. Creators that I'm very friendly with, seeing their post about this, being like, hey, just letting you know, this is what I found. You may want to like subtweet the corrections or something. Mm-hmm. And one of two responses always happened. Ignore me. 1. 2, defend their comment by citing past examples of Meta doing dickhole moves. No, that's not how this works. We need to talk about this. I don't want to stay on this for too long because I'm not trying to vent, but it was something that I noticed with VR journalism.
Yeah. Well, it's yes. Please continue.
And I'm not. This is not actually going to be a comment on the creators within it right now. Outside of the YouTube bubble, the Twitch bubble, Facebook bubble of creators, of people who are enthusiasts who are making content, the general coverage of VR from 2017 to like now is dog shit. It's awful. People, you have to fight to get coverage. Like Upload VR and Road to VR, bless their hearts, because they're trying something that no major outlet wants to cover VR in any bit of good light. They refuse. People outreach to them and they straight up refuse to cover VR. So the only people we can rely on for VR coverage right now is us, right? Mm-hmm. So we as a collective need to really do our best to sensationalize stuff to get the traffic we need. Play the game, guys. But cut back and hit the real facts within your content because no one else is going to do it for us. No one else. So we're on our own here, guys.
This is really tough, dude. This is a really tough area to navigate because, I mean, we could go meta with this, no pun intended, or we can get really, really, really specific. And to like give the meta example, journalism as a whole across the fucking board in every single vertical of all types is messed up. Like like we're talking about, it's all about a sensational headline. It's all about that first sentence of the article because no one's going to bother to click through and read what the journalist actually wrote. They're just going to read that headline and say, "Oh, that's the news." The news is this headline. And I saw another recent VR sucks article that went around, saying, "Oh, it's still super niche and you need a computer," and like obviously written by someone who doesn't know what VR is. And we're in such a really sticky situation that we're in because we are in VR. It is such a niche industry still, like it's not mainstream. There aren't all of the eyes that we want, and we want to get more eyes on it. But at the same time, it's super, super important that we don't do what you're talking about, just sharing headlines, just passing shit around because it's getting clicked on, because at the end of the day, we're not doing VR any favors by doing that. We're not actually sharing anything. We're just sharing clicks and stuff like that. I find it interesting that if you want to become a YouTube star, that you would enter the VR space. Like this is not the space to become famous on YouTube. Like there's plenty of other stuff you could do. You could do pranks. You could, play Fortnite or whatever it is, like whatever it is that's popping, whatever it is that's trending, like do that if you're trying to play the YouTube game. But I started a VR channel because I fucking love VR and because I want to contribute, because I want to help be a part of the wave of the inevitable future that I see coming, and I want to show my dedication and love for this amazing medium and this amazing technology. And I almost feel like that's where you would have to come from to start a VR channel, right? Like you want to get famous on YouTube. Why would VR be the space? So I think it's important that creators and journalists and everyone who cover VR keep in mind what their intention was when they got started, because you didn't get started because you thought you'd get 5 million views by buying a VR headset. You probably got started because you thought VR was fucking amazing and you wanted to share it. And now your intention has shifted. Now you're looking at the numbers. Now you're looking at, my ad revenue or this or that or the other thing. And that's what's starting to cause some of this bullshit. So now remember your intention, folks.
One clarification too. When I say play the game, and I know you didn't mean this, but I want to clarify. If you are trying to get all the clicks and all the stuff, like to get your message out, there is a degree, like I'm going to sensationalize the headline of this video and the thumbnail is going to be bright and it's I want you to click on it. That's the fucking point. But I just will do my absolute best within that to try to say the accurate information, because it's not just that other outlets are talking down on VR a lot. It's that you literally have to pay them to even talk about you. Like to even make that article, they won't touch VR. So we have to rely on ourselves. Next time you see someone spewing something on Twitter, on YouTube, just check the facts and remind them nicely. If they're wrong, they'll amend it. Sometimes we just don't have time. We just, I don't know. I got the more I kept seeing giant threads of thousands of retweets on this story, I'm just like, yeah, they definitely deserve some shit from something else. This is not the hill, guys. And the second you die on the wrong hill, muddies every other good point. Muddies every other good point. The topics I have today kind of go from bad to good. So like they start getting like real muddy, clear. But I also wanted to talk about Cards and Tankards because you're familiar with them, right?
Yes.
The game itself. So I'm going to put a little visual up here for everyone. But Cards and Tankards, for those who don't know, is a collectible trading card game. It's currently on Steam, SideQuest, and sort of App Lab, which is what we're going to be talking about. So, most recently, I believe this happened on Friday, November 5th. It was delisted from the Oculus App Lab store. Now, I am a player of the game. I have paid for stuff on this game. I spent $50 on it the day it came out or when it launched. I also reached out to the creator of it to get his statement on it because I want to make sure we get as close to what happened. From what I've been able to put together, the creator was contacted on Friday the 5th and told that they were violating the terms of service by having a PayPal link in-game and the PayPal website link for purchasing off-platform. Additionally, they were told that there is a policy against Patreon accounts providing in-game benefits on a Quest platform, especially when it's purchased off-platform. The creator was told this, and within a couple hours, reportedly, they removed the PayPal link from the game. Although by the time that happened late Friday evening, it had already been taken off App Lab. So this all happened on Friday. Speaking with them, they are hoping that possibly by the time this chat goes live, it is back on App Lab, but it was against terms of service. What have you purchased anything from Cards and Tankards?
No. I thought about it.
What stopped you from doing it, out of curiosity?
It's because I don't play it enough. I think if I was like really addicted, I would probably do it. But I played for like a couple of days, and while I was in there, I was eyeballing the stuff just because it would be fun. And of course, it's always great to support indie devs. But I go through a lot of games, so I just didn't stick on it. Yeah,
I don't know what the current process is. I'm not as familiar with the Patreon part of it. I can tell you my individual experience purchasing was real early. I believe the game came out about 9-10 months ago, plus or minus something. And I wanted to buy some gems in the game because I like card games. I could talk about them forever. I love collectible card games, and I wanted to contribute. I wanted to get some new cards I wanted to play. I had to click on a PayPal button in-game, but then it didn't work well. So then I had to go online, found the PayPal link. I spent $50. Then I had to DM him on Discord. Then had to give my Oculus ID name. And then he told me eventually that it would be in my account soon. I had to refresh 3 or 4 times and it showed up. That was my experience. I'm not going to make a statement on it, but I think in context it's important. The reason I bring up the story is that there was quite a bit of outrage I see on Twitter, right? And I think there's pros and cons here. For one, it is possibly one of the biggest shames in the world, and I've talked about it in a previous chat, that there are no in-app purchases on App Lab. I think that's pretty insane. Although, according to John Carmack, based off RJ from Soaring Rock Studios, that will be likely coming within a couple weeks. Do you think they should have been delisted for this? And according to them, it is their first warning. And when I say delisted, not a warning, nothing. They are completely off App Lab, still on Steam and SideQuest.
Yes, I do. It's against terms of service. If you know that, or maybe you forgot, I don't know. But if it's in the fine print before you put that shit up, and you broke a rule, I don't think they should just start, being like, oh well, that one wasn't that bad. Like you got to follow protocols. 2, on the Oculus Quest, I can see that they really want the experiences to be smooth and clean, and they want it to be like cohesive and work like a video game, because that's what they're kind of, it's like kind of like a gaming console in a lot of ways. So they want it to work like a video game does, because that's how we relate to a lot of these kinds of experiences, and that's why I think they're so strict with their curation You know, they want to make sure that anyone who fires up a game on the Quest, regardless of whether or not it's on the main store or even on App Lab, it's not some janky pile of garbage. And I'm not saying Cards and Tankers is a janky pile of garbage. I think it's really good,
it's really
and
good.
it's got huge potential. But a PayPal email address in my game, you know, like that to me screams like unprofessional, you know, like what, PayPal, like what the fuck is this? Like, no, in-app purchase, like you said, like click the button, there's my thing, it charged my credit card and I didn't take a headset off, like it didn't pull me out of the app. Like that's the way it has to be if you're going to do this kind of thing. You know, to your point, you jump through 15 hoops and now maybe there's only 7 hoops, but there's still hoops, and Oculus really cares about the user experience. So I do think that it probably should have gotten pulled off for something like that. Yeah. And I don't want to, because I don't think that developers should get shafted or should have no opportunities to make money. I absolutely think they should have tons of opportunities to make the money that they deserve. They're out there busting their asses, quitting their day jobs to make the games that they've always wished could exist, because they know they're not the only ones, and they're making them for us because we're the people. So I really want them to be successful and to find an opportunity to make money. They just need to do it the right way.
Yeah. And a couple things too. I know his Discord handle, and I know it's very public. Like Emery's the creator of it. I believe he's very young. I don't think it's a big team. I think it might be 2 or 3 people. For anyone who hasn't played Cards and Tankards, I would highly recommend to go play it. It's a very fun card game. They've been updating it constantly. It runs very well. The graphics are good. The tavern's got a great homey feel.
Yeah, it's just a great way to spend time in VR, you know? It's just like a great VR experience.
So I don't want to blast them. Like, this is not us blasting them. It's a great game. But they have to do, in a way, I also understand that they have to do what they need to do to survive. App Lab still is taking, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, Alex, I still believe App Lab takes 30% of the cut if it is a paid title.
I think so.
The searchability for them is practically zero. For those who don't know, if you search a App Lab game in the Oculus app, if you misspell it, not big misspells, I'm talking 1 letter, 1 space, 1 anything off, it will not pull up. It won't pull up. It's ridiculous. I remember when Puzzling Places was on App Lab, you had to type in Puzzling Places space dash space, and then it might have been beta or demo, or you had to type another word. Anyone wrong from that, 23 titles on my screen would show up before Puzzling Places. 23. That's
you know, without going too far, you know, I don't know if this is on or off topic, but I still kind of like App Lab, you know, like I understand that it's not like ideal, especially for developers, but it's not even ideal for us as gamers, because you don't know all the games that are available. You basically have to have a direct link to it and go to it on either your phone or your computer to get it to start installing on your Quest. But you know, like on my Oculus, or I mean on my Nintendo Switch, dude, do you have a Switch? You fire up the Nintendo Switch, dude, and that store is a fucking nightmare. Like, it is like you go to what's on sale, and it's like, oh, here's 1,200 titles on sale this week. Like, I'm not even shitting you. Like, it is a never-ending list of apps. It just doesn't stop. And you know, I still remember SideQuest, man. Like, I feel like SideQuest was yesterday. You know, and that was like 5 hoops on top of what App Lab does. You know, like App Lab is super smooth for these like small games that some of them are like still janky. Like there are some games that are amazing that don't make it to App Lab, and then piles of jank that do make it onto App Lab. And I'm like, how the fuck did this make it? But
doesn't seem like there's much of a roadmap.
It's kind of weird, but either way, I remember SideQuest very, very well still, you know, and I know it still exists, but for a while that was the only way for us to get these kinds of apps on our Quest. And now I just pop in a link, boom, I'm like flying through, I'm downloading games, you know, like I still appreciate App Lab for what it has done comparing it to SideQuest. I know that it's not where it needs to go yet, but at the moment I'm not complaining a whole lot, but I know I'm not a developer.
Yeah. I just I hope if to put it in a bow here, Cards and Tankards, I hope you guys get back on App Lab. You definitely deserve to be. It's a quality title.
Totally.
I would hope that the in-app purchase system that is supposedly coming to App Lab very shortly is here with the next couple of weeks, so you can get back to business. Granted, they will be taking their 30% cut that way, which sucks, but at least you have an option there.
For the record, I don't blame carts and tankards. I
Me either.
have very many times in my life taken the road of like, don't ask for permission, ask for
Yeah.
forgiveness.
Amen.
Like
Amen.
you just got to do it sometimes. So I
Yes.
feel you, bro. Like it didn't pay off, and I'm not gonna scream from the rooftops that you've been screwed over because you haven't been. You weren't supposed to do that. You did, and you got in trouble. Get back on App Lab though. We like you.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Words to live
Mm-hmm.
by. In positive news, or at least in my mind, what I thought was an insane piece of news that they did not share at Facebook Connect or Meta Connect, whatever you want to call it, because this, to me, is the biggest potential game changer of them all. And let me pull up I always like to give credit to who did it. According to a New York Times article by Mike Isaac of the New York Times, Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call them, is reportedly going to have in-person stores coming, the first one being their California location. These stores, from what I've been gathered, there's very limited information, but these stores will possibly sell hardware. That hasn't been confirmed, although I can't imagine that it wouldn't, but it is likely going to have demos of their headsets, their glasses, and their portal devices. So this is pretty damn big. It's insane to me. A Meta store similar to an Apple store with a VR arcade within it. What sells headsets, Alex?
That first-hand experience, for sure. You put a headset on, your brain melts, and you go home and buy one. That's about it.
Exactly. There's nothing more powerful than having hands-on experiences in VR with people who possibly are paid to be excited, but people who hopefully are very excited about the technology. Their enthusiasm just spews out and just seeps into you, especially when you're trying this. There's a heightened sense of awareness, of awe, of fun, and these stores could just change the entire game. And for them to make the name change at this time couldn't have been smarter, because I don't know about you, but I have no interest in going to a Facebook store. But a millennial who sees the word Meta or what's the newest? What are the younger generations? Gen Z, Gen X? I don't know what they're called anymore.
Gen Z, yeah.
Yeah. There's my millennial ass not knowing new stuff. But seeing a Meta store, what's that? I'll check it out, especially if the aesthetics look cool.
And it will. It's going to look like an Apple store. And I think that's what Apple does. I don't know why Apple stores are so fucking popular, but like you go to the mall and you look into that Apple store and there's like 100 people in there. It's crazy. And it's like, dude, don't you know what they have? Like, aren't you on the internet? Like, don't you know what these products are?
It's a clean store, though. It's clean.
It is clean. It's clean and it's bright, and there's like glass, and like there's people interacting with technology, and for some reason you can't help but go in there. Like I'm very much in this boat right now of like the idea that we as people are like destined to connect with technology. Like we crave it. Like there can be no other way. Like a lot of people are like, oh man, we're so attached to our phones, this is terrible. But it's like, no, we want to be. Like as a baby, when my mom booted up a computer, I heard the beeps and boops and crawled towards that shit. Like if there's something in me that wants to connect with that. So when you create the space where like there's all this technology and it's shiny and it's new and it's clean and it's fresh and people are having fun, like you just said, people are just gonna flock to it. They're just gonna like moths to the fucking street light, dude. Like we cannot stop. Like it's full train forward, and I'm sure if they build these things, they're gonna look great, and I'm sure they'll get popular and people will spend time in them.
Oh yeah, I saw the comparison quite a bit when this news came out. People saying, Best Buy did it. Someone said GameStop did it. I don't know if that's true or not. And a bunch of other stores, like, they didn't work. No shit, they didn't work. Those places are not dedicated to that. People are not going there, being drawn to it. And I don't know the last time anyone's been to a Best Buy. I mean, I go there quite a bit. I don't want to be there. I don't know why. I don't like Best Buys. I don't like GameStops that much. I want to be in and out. They're not a place where I'm going to go to experience something. I want to go buy a product and leave. I'm not going to just browse. this is an entirely different type of game they're playing. And if these stores start popping up left and right at your malls, it's just like, holy shit. I saw this
Especially which mall, dude? Like, that's the thing. Like, they're gonna go into like your like Mall of Americas and like, you know, your super high end, like exclusive, like next to fucking Gucci, there's gonna be Meta. So like they're gonna get the benefit of the doubt just by being in the right places.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I saw this headline. I think it came out on like a Friday maybe when this dropped or something. Actually, I mean, I got the article here. I guess I could just read it, huh?
Well,
November 5th. So yeah, Friday. And it just drowned out. No big deal. This is bigger than anything Facebook Connect brought. There's no game. In my mind, there is no game that Oculus could have put on their platform. Like, they even announced Grand Theft Auto, whatever. There is no game that hardware could have supported that would have turned mass heads. It's just not going to. For everyone, I know everyone claims Oculus is ubiquitous everywhere. It's not. I'll die on that hill if you want to get into that. But 4 to 6 million estimated headsets, general awareness outside of that, that's nothing in the grand scheme of things.
It is. It's true.
Everyone's like it's sad. It's sad. I mean, I've got over there. I've got a DK1, a DK2. I've got a Quest 1, a Quest 2. I got an Oculus Rift S. Like, I love those Oculus products. They're beautiful. And I got a lot of sentimental value in it. But they're a blip on the radar. And yes, my parents know the word Oculus, but they go, "What's the Oculus?" That's not correct.
Right.
That's not good branding. I'm sorry. It's not.
And frankly, dude, we're not even fucking close. Like, I have friends who are super into the climbing community. Like, they climb like rocks, and the climbing community is insane. Like, millions and millions, like billions of people across the world. It's such a normal, like, throughout history kind of activity. Like, people have been climbing recreationally for thousands of years, and it's so mainstream, it's so popular. Yet if I started dropping, like, you know, cam, you know, or like whatever the terminology is for climbing, you wouldn't fucking know what I was talking about. You know, and that is like astronomically larger than the VR scene, you know, like insanely larger, like way bigger than VR will ever be. And you, as a layman, don't know shit about climbing. So that's exactly it. It's like, we aren't even close to like everyone knowing about what we're doing. And I do want to say, this is very anecdotal, but I am where I am now because of a Best Buy demo. 100%. Walked into Best Buy to like buy an amiibo or something, and sat in that chair, and I was the only one in line, and I like went through the PSVR Worlds demo. I had my mind blown and went home like talking to my girl, being like, I just did this VR thing, and holy shit. And here we are. So it does work.
It works. This is going to be... I didn't see a date for when these are coming. I know the first one is in California that they plan. I don't know. We'll see. But to me, this out of the rapid fire VR news of October to real early November,
been so crazy.
If there was any bit of news that's going to change things drastically for more people outside of VR, it was this. It was this.
This is I'm glad you brought this up, and I agree with you. You know, Apple stores, like to your point, you know, earlier, they're like they're everywhere, and like people know it, and it has such a thing. You know, it is a thing. Apple stores are a thing, so I could easily see Meta becoming a thing. I'm gonna have to ask Skiva what he thinks about this, because
I got thoughts probably on what he's gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, I would be interesting. We had a talk, you know, offline a couple days ago, and I was asking him about it, and you know, I was like, yeah, Facebook, you know, came up to me and offered me like, you know, a job, you know, and we're like, hey, here's $1 million to like be a part of what we do. Would I take it? You know, and I was thinking about it a lot, and I was like, dude, I think I would. And he was like, what? You know, like, you would, like, you would, you know, like, what about your like morals, and like, what about the ethical practices of this company? Like, you can't contribute to that. Like, you need to stand. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, you know, like, and I want to, but like, if I'm in VR, I'm supporting Meta. I'm supporting Facebook. Like, the two are synonymous right now. Like, you can't separate virtual reality and Facebook and Meta's involvement. It's impossible. Like, you just can't. You can't talk about VR without talking about Facebook Meta. So if you are contributing to that space, if you are a part of that, then you are already contributing. And then it's like, okay, so at this point, what is there like an amount of support that's okay? Like, oh, I can support them a little bit by buying a headset and a couple of games, but I wouldn't take a job. I wouldn't let them pay me. So it's like important. I think it's important for me to navigate this for myself, to like kind of make sure that I'm comfortable going forward as we do all of this stuff, because I'm not into the idea of, the dystopian IOI future when all of our data gets sold and we don't own ourselves and some corporation knows us better than we know ourselves and we're not able to do anything about it. Like, I don't like that idea, but at the same time, I love VR. I'm a part of this world.
Want to hear a scary thought, though? So that last point,
Please.
Doesn't the technology already know more about us? And I'm not saying Facebook specifically, but how much of us reflect on ourselves daily? Our phone, our computers are reflecting on us to the milliseconds. My technology knows me better than I know myself. Why do I go to meditative experiences? Because I realize I'm losing my way because I don't know who myself is every now and then. My tech never misses a beat. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm saying it already knows me better than myself, which is a scary thought.
And I guess what I'm getting at is it already knows you better than you know yourself with very rudimentary tools. Like these tools are like, this is like a stick and a stone compared to the biometrics that VR and AR are going to provide. And it will really know you. Like, it will know what you're thinking. Like, it will know what you're about to think. Like, this is going to be some Minority Report shit.
They showed that and the CGI kind of mock interpretations of stuff that Meta is working on at Facebook Connect. They showed some of that, like the project. What was it? Nazare, the AR glasses that they kind of mocked up and showed, and they showed the woman who lost her keys or her coffee mug, and she wanted to know where it was, and the glasses basically predicted that she needed her keys and then sent her the reminder, your keys or coffee cup is over there. That's
just Google Maps you to your coffee cup.
Basically, yeah.
That sounds amazing. And that's the thing. And that's what I'm getting at. It's like, and this is what I mentioned earlier when I said that, like, it's inevitable, like we're pushing towards it. Like we want to resist it. Like we talk about resisting all of these things. We talk about not giving up our privacy, not giving up our independence, and not giving up our own self and our thoughts, and like not giving up all of the shit. But then we see something like that where it's like, oh my God, my glasses can just give me a map straight back to my coffee cup that I forgot about. Like, that sounds fucking cool. And then we love it. And we want it, so we beg for the thing, and then the thing comes, and then it comes with these caveats that maybe we hadn't fully considered before. And then you want to bitch about it. It's like you're already using the thing, man. Like we should have had some of these conversations ahead of time. At this point, I feel like the ball's rolling. Like the ball is rolling, it's going, and it's like, just hang on, baby. Because
it's not a lot that we can do to change it. And I'm navigating it daily. That's all we can do. So it goes back to our first story. Any creators who have a voice, who have some influence, ask the questions, ask away. Like Skiva, ask them away every friggin' time. Because we have to. We just need to figure out how to navigate the water. Like the biggest thing I just have to kind of watch myself out with is kind of like the whataboutisms. Like, well, Facebook does this. Well, Apple does this. And they do that. And it's a dangerous slope, and I've got to just take it bit by bit and try to make my best judgments. But you know what? I actually had I actually didn't have this topic planned, but I was thinking about it. And I think I actually have it pulled up already. That kind of goes into sort of what we're doing. Let me pull this up on screen. But you may have seen that Facebook is stopping its facial recognition features on the actual Facebook platform. So what they're doing is they are shutting down on Facebook, whether you've opted in or not. You will now not automatically be recognized in photos and videos, and they'll be deleting more than 1 billion people's individual facial recognition templates. To my knowledge, and a little research that I did last night, about 30% of Facebook users, which is a pretty good amount, have opted in to allow that facial recognition tracking. So, in one side, it's interesting. We were talking about our tech knowing this already too much. That Facebook acknowledged that there are some pros to this, but also potential cons, and canceled it. But here's the other side of it, to be devil's advocate. They did not stop this and are not going to stop facial recognition for their Meta products, meaning VR.
Yeah, which means nothing happened.
Well,
It means
is that
nothing
what it
happened.
means? Is that what it means?
I think so. I think so. Yeah, because Facebook is a dying platform, all right, and they know it. Like they are watching these other social medias just fucking crush them, and no one's, what are the kids on? Not fucking Facebook. I
No, they're
promise you.
not. They're not
You
on.
know, so they know this, and they are pivoting. They're pivoting everything. They are like, okay, it's not going to be Facebook anymore. We are shifting. We're changing our name. We're changing our products. We're changing this. We're changing that. And they're always going to stay, however, that data collection company and that advertising company. So they're just changing names, dude. They're like, okay, nope, you'll never have to have a Facebook account again to use VR. But it's a fucking Meta. It's the same thing. It's like it's just a rebranding. It's just changing a name.
Let me
So
play
I
devil's
personally don't
advocate
think,
on that real quick.
Sure.
So here's my one thought process. I think it's different in the sense of, so I look at Facebook's version, right? I'm thinking, okay, what are the pros and cons of this? And I don't know. So I based on the article provided by Facebook, so keep that in mind. It looks like one of the changes that is going to impact is they did have a feature for automatic alt text, which creates images for the blind and visually impaired based on that facial recognition. So they basically could read out text to you to describe these pictures that it's automatically detecting by people who opted into this service. So you have this benefit where facial recognition helped a certain group. There is a sentence down here that says, we need to weigh the positive use cases for facial recognition against growing societal concerns, especially as regulators have yet to provide clear rules. Please note, I'm speaking only on Facebook, the social media platform, not on their virtual reality meta section. So I read that and I go, okay, what's the pros for facial recognition on a social media base, just the Facebook platform itself? Yes, they gave me one clear one there. I can't really think of much. Like, I don't know what the benefit is, right? Like, deep to myself. Then Meta says they're going to use facial recognition software. And I go, okay, this is a different beast. It's a lot more data. There's a lot more societal concerns. Everyone's right there. There's also a lot more personal benefits here. You can identify sickness. There's almost a pre-medicine type abilities of this. There are other things. There are a lot of benefits that facial recognition can do. Not only to that, but provide a better social presence if we care about our avatars and things like that. It can provide us more immersion, and the technology can get better with foveated rendering and eye tracking. I know that's not facial recognition, but it's up there. It's a different game to me when we're talking VR and facial recognition of what it can and cannot do. Now, there are big societal concerns. I personally want to see where this goes with facial recognition in VR. I think some of the pros may outweigh the cons.
Yeah, I'm actually not against facial recognition technology at all. I am, however, against Facebook coming out, making some kind of fucking announcement to make it sound like they're removing a feature that's invasive, which at the end of the day isn't going to change anything. They're still going to have all the same data. It's just going to be applied in a different way, probably in a more profound way, in a way that's more useful to them. Like, you're talking about the pros and the cons, and you're thinking about that from the consumer perspective, but the whole time I'm thinking about what the pros and the cons are for them. It's like, what are the pros for them to have all of this facial tracking recognition software out there? And I take every single thing they say with a grain of salt, because they have proven that you have to, because they'll make a promise and then break it a year later, and we just we're like, oh well, they broke our promise, like they don't get punished, so they're able to come out, make claims, make statements that alleviate people's worries and fears and make them feel like they're more trustworthy, and then turn around and do whatever the fuck they want. So I take this with a grain of salt, and I don't think that Facebook coming out saying that they're removing a feature that is seemingly invasive is doing anything. And
Our
just doesn't excite me.
Our next subject, I want to go one more thing on this, but it's funny that you say that, because the next story, it's technically good, but the way it was phrased, your point is very, very valid. And I thought it was funny that you said that. But when it comes to facial recognition with VR, let's put the companies aside. What are your thoughts on that? Will this be one hell of a value add to the consumer eventually, where it's opted in. Like, let's say it's an opt-in program. Let's just say it is, which it likely won't be. But for argument's sake, let's say it is. Do the majority of people opt into something like this?
Yeah.
Why so?
I think they would. So long as there was like one use case that like saved them a bunch of time. You know, like if I could use facial recognition software to dynamically change the avatar based on who's wearing the headset, that would be fucking cool. You know, I put the headset on, there's my avatar, I hand it over to my wife, it immediately changes into her. You know, like that kind of thing, that sounds dope. You know, like I think if people who shared headsets had the opportunity to opt into something like that, they would take it. You know, if they're like, hey, can we track your face, and like you don't offer anything as like for that, then that would be maybe not so much. You know, people would probably be a little bit more hesitant to do that.
If it was opt-in, likely what would happen is there would not be much benefits for a consumer right away. People opting in are just those people who don't care, and they like
just takes a little bit of a push. It just takes a little bit of, it's like on Facebook, for example, it was like, hey, do you want us to tag your photos for you? Like that's
what it was. I don't know. I haven't used Facebook in so long.
Yep. It's like, hey, look, let's make tagging your photos super easy. You know, like we track the facial things and say, is this you? Is this your friend? Oh, is this your wife? You know, and you're like, yep. And you're just clicking on faces. So the reason to opt in on Facebook was to tag easily. So that way you don't have to go in and click on everyone's face manually. It just streamlined it. And I think that was all people needed, because they're not thinking about the VR headsets that are going to steal even deeper, you know, shit in the future. They're just trying to tag photos. So I think all you have to do is provide some form of time saver with those functions to get people to sign on, and that's it.
Which actually makes the 30% less impressive. Than maybe that's a sign that people are more on the side of privacy. If it was that easy to opt in and only 30% did it, maybe that is a good sign that people really do value their privacy, and they might have a harder time getting more people. Who knows? Well, I'm speculating here.
Yeah.
But to your previous point, I thought this was interesting that you said that, because I kind of saw a weird announcement, and I say weird because it was the area in which he did it. I'll put it up on screen here. But Mark Zuckerberg posted on Facebook, which is it's just so interesting that he posts on Facebook this kind of stuff that is just so drowned out and impossible to ever find. Like, why was it put here? I don't know. But basically, there is a new creator economy incentive package that they are putting in, which was interesting on a couple levels. One is there are no companies investing in creators right now, like much, other than Facebook. So they have that leverage right here. But I was reading this, and the point that was funny that you said is here's the news, but masking something else. And in their first statement, he says the 30% fees that Apple takes on transactions makes it harder to do that. So we're updating our subscriptions product so now creators can earn more. So it's the benefit to creators, but you're still taking 30%. So you mask the statement that you do the same thing with the 30%. But this specific plan we won't do that with. So I thought, to your point, it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's a bunch of PR horse shit. What they do is they go to a whiteboard and they jot down, okay, what are people bitching about the most? And they jot it all down, and then like, okay, how are we going to address this stuff? Because we can't not address it forever. You know, like we can keep our mouth shut for a while, which they do for way too long, if you ask me. Like they do shit and don't tell people their intentions or like any of that stuff. It's insane. But I'm sure that they're going over there, they're writing down all of these terrible things. Like, okay, people are pissed about privacy. Oh, developers are pissed about this 30%. Oh, they're pissed about having to tie their Facebook account to this thing. So how are we going to alleviate these pain points and get people to shut the fuck up? Which is all they want to do, is to get you to shut up. Shut up, quit bitching. You okay, here, look, see, Apple takes 30%. We're not going to do, but they are, just your point, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. They just want you to shut up. They want you to quit bitching. They want to switch the narrative of Facebook and Meta are a bunch of assholes to Facebook and Meta do everything for everyone. And as long as we keep clicking past the headlines, we're going to see that that's not what's happening.
Which is why I started our talk with that one specific one. I'm even personally, I've fallen into the trap of the headlines, so I'm doing my best. This creator tweets were a little interesting. So it looks like what they're doing is they're launching a promotional link for creators for their subscriptions offering. So basically, you're getting individual links where I think it looks like this. I got to pull up my screen. It looks like now individual. You can basically subscribe to someone now on Facebook, pay them directly, and nothing is coming out of that cut. So you are getting 100%, which is good. In addition, anyone who does that, the creator will have the ownership of that audience, meaning they'll be able to get their email addresses and their info, which I hope is voluntary. I hope that's a voluntary item. But that is also interesting to me because you do have the problem, for example, Twitch or YouTube. Those people on that platform, it's very hard to get them off that platform, right? Like if I make a YouTube channel, YouTube has the power now over me for a while because I can't take that base and just pick them up and put them somewhere else. Which from their side, I get it. That I signed up for that. Like I'm not arguing about it. But it's interesting to be able to get that kind of info voluntarily, hopefully. I keep using the word voluntarily. Because it would give you more control over your audience where if you decide to want to move off platform, you can't force them to move, but you have now avenues to directly contact them to pull them off to wherever else you want to go. Which it's interesting. And then the final thing, and then we can kind of review this, is what they're doing. It looks like there's a bonus program that pays creators for each new subscriber they get as part of their 1 billion creator investment fund. So basically, if someone pays you to subscribe to you, you get 100% of those funds. Nothing is taken out, and they'll pay you something on top of that for getting subscribers. Obviously, they want people on their platform. It's an interesting package. It's interesting that it's not targeted more to VR because it is the metaverse, but I get it. I'm being selfish there. What are your thoughts on this type of package they're putting together?
Man, I don't know. I don't think as a creator, I would prefer to have the majority of my content on Facebook. But that is because of probably of just what I know about the company and, how much I trust them. Obviously I know that Google is probably bad, right? But for some reason I feel better.
For the record, it is not exclusive. So like, it's not like Twitch where if you do partner on Twitch, you can't stream on YouTube. Like that Facebook subscription page is not, you're not locked into anything there. So just want to
That's good.
Yeah.
So that's good. So then you could potentially maybe like dual stream, or do something like that. I think if you're already a creator on Facebook, congratulations. I guess that's awesome. Like you'll have plenty of opportunities now to, do a little bit more. I guess I'm just like always wondering what their intention is, and it really sucks because they're making the products that I love, and they're making technology that I love. It just really sucks that every time we like have to talk about something like this, I am like feeling like I'm being pulled in two different directions. You know what I mean? Like I want to just dive in and just be like, yes, like this is all amazing. More tools for creators, yes, some stores, Meta, yes, Facebook, yes, this, but like the reality is that it's hard to do that. So, I have a hard time getting excited about any announcements that come from them right now because I'm wondering what their intention is. I'm wondering what it actually means, where it's actually going to go, and whether or not it'll actually work out for the people who sign up for it. So on paper, sounds good, right? Make more money, have more control, more tools at your disposal. I guess we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's using Facebook, so I don't know how I do know from some people who have a fairly large Facebook presence, like they do YouTube and Facebook, but man, Facebook pays way more than YouTube, like just before this program. So that's why some people do it. It's also much harder to be monetized on Facebook than it is YouTube, like extremely harder. But I don't know. I'm not on it, so I couldn't tell you much.
On Facebook, you don't go on there?
No, dude. Fun story. My Facebook account was made I'm going to date myself here, but it was made in 2008 on my way driving to college by my sister because she says you cannot go to college without a Facebook account. And nice. It was made for me there and then used sparsely. So I have not posted on it. I couldn't tell you the last time I posted on it.
Interesting. I saw a lecture the other day of Mark Zuckerberg talking at Harvard, like a year after Facebook came out or something like that. This is like still when they had all of the email addresses tied to universities and stuff. Yep. And it was fucking crazy. Like he was a dude, you know, like he was like one of us, you know, like he just like was talking, had like natural tones, and like I was like not super confident, you know, and like it was like really humanized him, you know, and to watch him speak now versus the way, you know, he was speaking when Facebook was just getting up and running is like two different people. It's
do you
super
think that's
crazy.
a product of the job?
Oh,
Like, do you
yeah.
think?
Hell
I
yeah.
was gonna say, do you think? Like, I sometimes I listen to him and I wonder. I'm like, there's half of me that goes, you are a kid, like you love this shit, like you're all about it, and the other half has been groomed by a system that you have no choice but to be who you are now. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into that way too deep. But I see someone who actually is a gamer, is a VR nerd, is a zealot, and then the other half is just, I don't know how old he is, but he's just been doing this for so long that he's you can't get out of that mindset.
And he's Mark Zuckerberg, right? Like he's not just some fucking guy that like runs a company. He's world famous for creating like the biggest website of all time. You know, like the pressure of getting in front of a camera as Mark Zuckerberg must be staggering, knowing that like, I don't know, 1 billion people are going to watch it, you know, like really, really insane. The amount of pressure that he must feel as, I'm assuming, a human doing what he does on a regular basis, especially when you know that you're just going to get fucking annihilated regardless of what you do. It doesn't matter what he says or does, he is going to get drugged through the fucking ringer. And if there's anything memeable, it's getting memed. You know, if he says anything goofy, we're gonna fucking call him out on it. Like,
okay, his meme worthy stuff is meme worthy, so he brings that
it's so
on himself.
meme worthy.
He brings it on himself.
Sure he does.
Make
but
it harder.
Please
Please make it harder for us. The meme. I mean, it's.
I know that picture of him with like the full white sunblock.
Surfing.
It's so good.
I mean, dude, just you're making it too easy to meme you, but it does lead to some fun stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, and the reason why I brought it up is it was just so interesting to see the change, right? Like from this like young kid with a sparkle in his eye, you know, who was like still partying, to world famous billionaire CEO of the company that's building the metaverse.
Yep.
You know, it's just nuts.
The metaverse, man. That's all I had for topics to cover, man. Anything I missed that you wanted to get into?
Let's see. No, I guess not. You know, this is a really weird time for me. You know, I'm, like I said, I've kind of been having conversations, and I urge you all to have conversations, right? Like, don't just internalize all of your ideas about Facebook or about VR. Like, talk to your friends, talk to your community, and get some multiple perspectives, you know, because there are times when I feel like I should be in one camp, you know, like supporting Meta, supporting Facebook, and being enthusiastic about the decisions that they're making. And then there are times when I feel like I should be more vocal about where this industry is going and try to preserve, you know, some peace, love, and harmony in this space that I enjoy so much. But the reality is that I don't think this is a decision that I can come to by myself. You know, like conversations like this one, or the one that I had the other day with Skiva, where we're both basically representing the opposite schools of thought. You know, he's like, no, do not support this company, trust me. And I'm like, but we already are, maybe it's like too late kind of thing. You know, like it's really hard for me to figure out where I want to go, but I need your help, Eric, and I need Skiva's help, and I need everybody's help. Like, and we all do. We all need to be talking about this. And you know, I think it's important also when having any discussion, right? This is a meta kind of thing here that I'll end it with, that we stay open and respectful of each other's viewpoints, regardless of how much we agree with them, because we are not defined by any of this. Okay. Like, sure, my name on YouTube is Alex VR, but I'm not defined by my love of virtual reality, you know, and no one should be defined by their perspective on anything. You know, if you learn how to skateboard, you're not a skateboarder now. Congratulations, you are a skateboarder. Like, you are a person who enjoys to skateboard. And I think if we're able to separate this and realize that we're not defined and we shouldn't identify with our perspective on these types of things, or on the things that we enjoy, or the things we do, or our political affiliations, or whatever it is, then we're going to get to where we're trying to go so much faster, because we're going to have respectable conversations with each other where hopefully both parties can learn a little something about where the other person is coming from. So please, everybody, have conversations, stay open, and feel free to hit me up anytime.
Hell yeah, man. I don't got anything else to say after that. There's no reason. End it on a high note like that. Everyone, check out Alex VR on Between Realities podcast. It's a weekly, right?
Yep. It's weekly, but this season's been wild. Like we'll do a bonus episode here, or we'll skip a week there if we need to. We've got like lots of plans and things going on, but typically it's every Friday live at what was 3 Pacific. We just did daylight savings time, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening with the time zones, but during the day on Fridays Between Realities, we have tons of conversations just like this. We really love to dive deeper, have real conversations, maybe provide a few different opposing viewpoints, and of course we always have guests join us each and every week, just like Eric for President, who has been on our show a couple of times.
I think I'm scheduled January.
Oh yeah, I think so. January.
Just looking forward to talking to you guys again. We'll see if I can I'm sure Steve and I will be on the opposite side of the table on that one.
And it's going to be amazing.
I just like to be devil's advocate, get those conversations going. But I will put all of Alex's links down in the video description. Of course, if you want to catch our chat in a little more smaller, more tangible bits, we'll put those on Eric for President clips starting November 9th, one a day. And with that, Alex, thank you for joining. And,
thank you so much, dude.
As always, everybody, we'll see you next time, Space Cowboys. Oh, the live action anime is going to be dope.